Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies of your view. Hello, ladies. It's Friday. Look, happy, nice Friday. How you doing?
Friday.
What's up?
She's looking Friday already.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I couldn't sleep last night because the church on my street decided to have a program.
White Garment.
Yes.
Oh,
that very
Jehovah.
popular one that's always on Instablog. Decided to have a program in the all night.
Jesus.
So from 12, in fact, the noise started from 11. It was more singing, and it was so loud, I felt it was happening in my room. And I can't even sleep with music, because anytime I hear music, it's either I'm singing along. So in my mind, I was singing with the choir. I didn't sleep. I still have bags under my eyes.
That's good.
When
You
I get
worship
home,
God.
no, I don't want that one. I'm going to work. I came to work this morning. When I get home now, I'm going to call the CDA chairman to tell me what is happening.
Yeah.
Speakers are not supposed to be allowed outside.
Right.
Do your program inside. You are
you in
popular
Lagos
already.
again?
Everybody. No, it's not fair.
Are you in Lagos?
That's the fight I'm going to fight when I live here now.
It's totally wrong.
Your state might not have law against noise. So.
No, she's not in Lagos now. She's in Ogun State.
I mean, no go.
Oh, okay.
They should have. We'll find out.
State.
that's
Okay.
I thought, oh, yeah, just gonna see.
She's not a good person.
No, I'm not trying to help you. It's not like those people swing.
So in Lagos State, you can actually make a case.
Yeah, in
your
Ogun
state.
State.
I'll find out. We will make a case.
That's Governor Abiodun, I believe.
Yes.
Let him look into
That
that.
will
How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. See,
You actually look like Naomi Campbell with this your hairstyle.
thank
she
you, thank
does.
you, thank you. I get different. I'm treated differently everywhere I go. I mean, when I go to shops, they're quickly, madam, please. You
because of the hair?
I'm telling you, people just treat you differently with the sort of
just
hair
like one
that you're
style.
carrying. Yes. And then when I put my dark glasses, it's like, whoa, who is this?
The governor's wife.
You have the height, the presence, what's about? Any plans
So,
on the weekend?
yeah, well, yes, I think we have like birthdays and stuff to do. And then my son is turning 8 on Sunday as well, yes. But today, coming to work, well, it's been like that for about past 2 weeks now. The bridges, especially the one around that Jibowu area, the links that that are used to attach the bridges are now exposed.
Oh.
And so because of that, cars have to go really slowly to go over the bumps. And then some of the links, the road around them are degraded, you know. So it has formed, so every time you're coming, even though today I was saying I woke up at 4:30, I still barely made it to work early because the cars have to go really slowly. So there's traffic backed up. And that happens on all the bridges, you know, till you get here. And then, you know, the bridges are also winding. So you have those trucks with the containers on it. It's a very dangerous journey to make every morning. I just wish the government can look into those roads. I know they did some bridges, but they need to quickly do the rest, especially as schools will be resuming and more cars will be on the roads.
True that. How you doing?
For you. I'm fine, I'm fine. I wanted to do shout-outs this morning, but okay, I'll still do them because my niece, our first lady, is turning 2 tomorrow. And she loves to call me mommy when I'm on the show. She'll be shouting while the TV is on. So mommy's here and, you know, but tomorrow morning I'll find a way to celebrate. But then a friend of mine, her mom passed yesterday. I tried to call, the number wasn't going. You know, I talk about a friend of mine in Punch, Sekina, and I'm always talking about her whenever when Punch gets me feedback. But her mom passed and I've not been able to reach her. If you're watching Sekina, my heart is with you. And I'll try to see you before the weekend passes.
Right. For those of you that don't know, the longest serving leader in Africa just passed on, I think it was this morning. Mugabe passed on at the age of 95. So some people are saying...
We need to go for the burial.
Leader, dictator, it depends on how you see it.
The point is that we thought that he never died, but at least we thank God that he has gone, he has
lived
logged out,
This
and he
is
has
life.
taken a flight to
The
his
great
destination,
beyond.
to great beyond. So may his soul rest in peace.
Perfect peace.
Me, I went to do James Bond. I went to go to Lagos yesterday.
How
Yeah.
was it? Just
Tell me.
I got frustrated.
Oh, no.
You know, they told me to go and park opposite the mosque,
Yeah.
the Mosalashi Mosque,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And just to park, it took me almost
But
2
you know, that place is
hours just to park, getting into
I go by
the
public
parking lot.
transport when
It
I
was,
go
I just got frustrated. What kind of life is this? Like, they were functioning in chaos. All the area was trying to park you. Hey, I'm like, what the heck is this? Finally, they now find all parking places inside. I said, Uncle, you know what? I'm getting out of here. I just.
So you didn't do your shopping?
No, I left. I said, because I realized that if I parked there, If I
You'll
no,
never be able
after
to
I
get
won't be
out.
able to get out until like maybe 7 p.m.
Yeah.
I just went to Ikwanri. On Ikwanri, I can understand Ikwanri. It's very
Okay.
understandable place to shop. I went straight to Ikwanri. I got everything I wanted.
Okay.
Good,
Good prices
prices,
as
and I
well.
was
That one
happy.
is eyebrow. But the secret is to pack.
These two.
No, when I go... When,
Oh yeah, you mentioned that to me.
Oh, yes, that's what
Public
I do.
transport,
That's what I do.
right? That
I
would
just
have been
take
the
a
best.
taxi.
Uber,
No,
yeah.
but because you might be shopping so
Taxify.
much and, you know...
No,
don't
you
want to
can
keep-
get the Uber right inside that market.
Yes, you
yeah.
can.
It comes and picks you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, next time I know because man, it was just terrible. Anyways, it's Friday. I think our celebrity gets cancelled though. We're not sure. He's still.
For real?
1 second he said he's coming. 1 second he's switching off the phone. Anyway, we have plenty gist for him, regardless of them.
I'll be very
Let's-
disappointed in him.
if he doesn't come.
I won't fans him.
Anyways, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the newspapers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Right, we're going to start with The Nation. South Africa rules out redress as government mulls legal option. $9.6 billion. Danjuma declined PNAID's shares offer. Bandits offer to swap victims with members. Southeast governors, IPOB can't ban travels. And families abandon mentally ill in jail. Okay.
The families?
Yes, go ahead.
So the Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, that's formerly the Nigerian prisons, Ahmed Jafaru, has said that about 13 persons, mentally ill persons, have been dumped in the prison. So what the family members do is that they get a remand order from the court to leave those mentally ill persons in the prison. So he's saying that the 2019 Act, that's this new correctional act that's on, will provide laws that will not allow them to drop people in prisons who are mentally ill, who are injured, and who are, what's it called, not in their right state of mind in the
Mentally
prisons. Yes. So anyone who will be coming to the prisons, and then they are also going to enforce the non-custodial law. You know, we had the guy who came here to explain those of the law. So they are going to train their people, the officials, to learn about how to handle that non-custodial.
In addition to the story, he also talked about 3,000, almost 3,000, that's 2007 and 7,700 and something inmates awaiting death on death row.
Yeah.
And, you know, most of them, about 80% of them have exhausted their appeals. They're just waiting. You know, we wanted to address the issue of the governor's unwillingness to sign, you know, the death sentence into execution. But those are one of the...
I have one last story. On
The bandits?
Yes, the bandits. Yes. So the Katsina State governor has been talking with the bandits, and they're willing to swap people who they have captured for their own people that the government has arrested. And they're just saying that they're very happy with the way the governor is addressing this issue. He actually came to their hideouts to talk about this. And they said that even...
the bandits' hideouts?
Yes.
Wow.
You know, and they're like, you know, now they have someone is listening to them. And they said that we really also want government to look into our own issues. We need educational facilities, we need roads, we need proper infrastructure and good living conditions.
Which government?
Okay, so...
Katsina State, Masari. And then they're also talking about how they do not want indiscriminate arrest by SARS anymore. You know,
Okay,
they
so
extort
the
money
bandits
and cows from...
in Katsina and Zamfara have been negotiated with in the past. They gave out what they needed, part of which was school for their children, health for them,
Yes.
and a lot of other things. They were in negotiations with them. Why did the banditry start again? Which is why some people will be against these negotiations. They were talking to them, and then they moved from past state. So when they're settling with them in Zamfara, they moved to Katsina. And when they're talking with them in Katsina, they moved to Zamfara.
No,
they can't continue moving.
No. You have to be sure that it's the same set of bandits that we're talking about who are moving, because we're dealing with the ones in Katsina State, and already there's been improved.
I don't want us to go over it because we're just reviewing the
Anyway.
papers.
At some point,
That's
we need to
But the
be
point is
strong.
taken that negotiations were made and they've asked for their own demands. Moving on now to The Punch. Xenophobic attacks. 83 protesters arraigned. South Africa blames drug dealers. Truck destroys Bayelsa Bridge, cuts off community. With Rossawest barking, can he bite Bobrisky? No police officer should die fighting criminals, says Inspector General. Police OPC partnership will solve insecurity, says Gani Adams. Nigerian Stock Exchange downgrades Orlando to low-priced stock. Wanted man appointed into MC Olomo's NURTW panel. PNID AGF demands contract detail from CBN and 13 ministers. Nigeria tragically living on borrowed time, says World Bank. Picture story, very important.
So, yes, so the Elebele Bridge in Ogbia, this is in Bayelsa State, has fallen. They said that this bridge is many years old. It links many communities in Bayelsa together. So these 2 trucks that are taking like construction materials to the site were on the truck and they fell. Luckily, no lives were lost, but people are stranded in the different communities because that's their only way of passage. And they're asking that government and SPDC, that's Shell, to quickly find a way to fix
I was looking
this.
at the picture of the bridge. It looks like a wooden bridge.
Before
Yes,
a
very
bridge
old
collapses, they should have seen the signs that this bridge
This
is
one
about to
even be
cave
like
in.
And besides, I don't even think the truck should have taken that bridge.
2 trucks at the same time.
It's not made of wood. I was looking
Yeah,
at it.
it's a wooden bridge. So this, anyway, let's see, another story in Punch.
The xenophobic, are we talking about it?
No, we'll talk about it in the next speaker. Okay, let's move on. Daily Sun, South Africa dares Nigeria declines to pay attack victims compensation. FG to prosecute looters of ShopRite and MTN. Southeast governors to IPOB, no apology for you. Lagos moves to generate billions from waste. And EFCC nabs suspects on FBI list. 53 others in 4 states.
So Lagos State Governor speaking at the launch of a Blue Box program, an environmental initiative of his administration to sort waste. So maybe, you know, what we had during the Fashola was the green, yellow box for different kinds of waste. So they've launched theirs to sort waste. And he was talking about a projected recycling plant by 2021 where Lagos will start to generate money from recycling waste. I cannot wait.
And that 50% of that waste would actually be recycled. So
Yes,
hopefully,
I can't wait.
it's good to see the projections. Let us wait now.
2021, no.
Let's see
That's like in
the
2
actual
years,
work.
right?
I've started already on my phone to
South
remind
Africa?
me.
Yes.
Yes,
South
so
Africa.
you know, Nigeria has said that they will seek redress and that all the properties that have been lost with this xenophobic attack will be compensated due
they're
to...
asking them.
They're asking them,
Asking,
yes. So
yeah.
I started, they should be compensated. But the South African government is saying that there's no compensation. They should not expect any form of compensation. There's no provision in their law for that.
Right.
So... we should
And
just
then,
chill.
and
They also
then,
added that-
yes, they said that Nigerians are being accused of being drug peddlers and causing and selling drugs to their children. So they're asking our government to also help them make sure that we do not have those sort of people
No,
coming
they should
into
wait
their
before they
country.
ask for help.
I
We've suffered
cannot
loss.
believe this. We're just doing
So
review.
I
but
I was against the chairperson of the APC this morning when he called that, you know, we should nationalize their companies. I was thinking it was so extreme until I read their dare message in all the papers saying that they can't compensate us
can't
for the
believe
loss.
this.
You see, I felt that there was this lack of political will to do the needful. Their government or whoever is in power is unwilling
obvious.
to fall out of love with his people and allowed this kind of criminality go on for years. So I think we should start to look at more ways to make the pain.
Because they said even when the president made a speech, he did not, you know, talk about the Nigerians' lives and properties lost.
There's an article I totally missed it. I wish I read it. Buhari vows to free local government finances from the government's control. So remember, initially we thought it was only NFIU that was fighting this, but now I think the president is backing the push for local government independence. But we'll look at that another time. Moving on to the Nigerian Tribune, APC wants takeover of MTN, other South African investments. 2,742 inmates on death row in Nigeria. Over 60,000 Nigerian refugees in Cameroon cry out for help. NLC kicks against concession of 22 teaching hospitals. 33-year-old bridge collapses, disconnect Otuake from Yenogua. And Nigeria loses over $10 billion annually due to over-dependence on oil, says World Bank. Okay, which story are we taking?
Should I?
Okay, World Bank.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the World Bank is lamenting that Nigeria's over-independence in the oil sector is what has cost us about
Actually,
10
it's a senior
billion.
agricultural economist that came
yes.
from World Bank. Yeah,
Yes,
go ahead.
saying that is what has cost us about $10 billion US dollars yearly. And if we had paid attention to our crops, our palm oil, our cocoa, groundnut, and cotton, we would have been able to generate this amount of money on a yearly basis. So the advice is that the agricultural sector is picking up at the moment. So states should tap into what is happening. And then they should make more laws that will guide and help provide more for the farmers.
See, I'm just pained by the way our leaders think. we're not proactive.
Yeah.
Over 50 years now, we'll be talking of diversification, and we're still not seeing the effect of it, so that someone will do this analysis and warn us again. We'll hear it again, we'll sleep over it.
So Cameroon,
okay, very quickly.
Okay, so we have over 60,000 Nigerian refugees in Cameroon who ran away from Borno State because of Boko Haram attacks, and they're asking that government should come to their aid. But the Minister, Sadia Farouk, Minister for Humanitarian Services, says that they had actually, asked these refugees to come home, but they cannot force them home. You have to be willing to leave that place. Wow. And only 133 of them were willing to leave. So it seems that, I don't know, are the refugees more comfortable there, or is it, there's definitely a miscommunication somewhere. We need to know why.
We have to run very quickly, but let me just run through the papers. Vanguard, South Africa dares Nigeria says no compensation for victims. Lagos tragedy, surviving child of a family of 7 dies. Wow. That's the little girl there, yeah. Cybercrime, NCC bids to regulate use of internet. Banditry, Katsina residents, Islamic scholars seek divine intervention. Southeast governors won't apologize to IPOB, says Umahi. Labour rejects federal government's plan to concession 22 teaching hospitals. And Jim Ovia pulls out of World Economic Forum events in South Africa. I really wish I read this. Labour rejects federal government's plans to concession 22 teaching hospitals. If you think about it, don't you think it's a good option? But no, you don't think so? Not. You don't think we should retain the ownership of the hospitals?
Yes.
Federal government, okay. Well,
because of the prices, or do you think better services?
They have their own. It's shared really. So the local government takes care of the primary health care center.
Or maybe it should have been a joint effort. So maybe the running of the hospital can be private, and then to make sure that services provided.
We can get hospital administrators for that.
Let's just run through the Guardian. Lawyer split over $9.6 billion debt. Irish firm may opt for talks. Boycott South Africa's business. Oshomole urges Nigerians. And finally, this day, xenophobic attacks threaten $60 billion Nigeria-South African trade. Telcos explain failure to attain 2% call drop rate. And Jimovia withdraws from World Economic Forum in South Africa. A lot of people withdrew, but I think Obiora Ezekwesili was there. Yes. She attended, and I feel a few other governors too attended. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but...
You don't want to look at Shomole quickly?
No, we have run out of time. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we have lots of topics to discuss. I think our celebrity guests might show up. Hopefully, we don't know, but we'll see what happens. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So Nollywood actor Uche Jumbo recently called out our Nigerian senators on receiving 1.2 million naira as hardship allowance. She went further to ask, what exactly is hardship allowance? What does it mean? Stating that same should have been invested in Nollywood over its challenges in the film industry. So we're asking you, do you know what a hardship allowance is? And is it necessary? Join the conversation 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. So Mariam,
yes,
what is hardship allowance?
So hardship allowance is the Human Resources UK. It says an extra amount of money that someone is paid for working in difficult conditions. Hardship allowances are normally calculated as a percentage of the salary, sometimes 30% or more. So it is in areas where it's particularly difficult or unpleasant to live or work. So from where I got this information from, they're talking especially about expatriates who go to places like Africa, Asia, and they're talking of places that they do not have enough health facilities, they do not have security, and then also hardship allowances are paid to people like soldiers who go to tour. They especially mentioned like Afghanistan, especially those who are going over and over and again. So now the question is, the question is, do we deserve senators?
So my question therefore is, if you're coming from somewhere as far as, maybe let's just say, maybe Sokoto, and you've never been to Abuja before, and you just happen to be a senator, your people voted for you, you have no clue, you've been hearing about Abuja, and finally you come to Abuja, don't you think that person deserves a hardship allowance because he has never been to Abuja before, doesn't know where to start from, doesn't know where the hospitals are, doesn't know where rent allowance, has no clue. So the question is a question. Don't you think that person deserves a hardship allowance?
The job is not easy, Mariah.
In my mind, yeah, honestly, in my mind, I was
job
already
is
calling
easy.
Thunder to come and see something. Thunder should come and hear what Mariah is saying this morning.
No, it's a question now.
we
So don't you think that person deserves a hardship allowance?
Okay, first of all,
Right.
what is the person coming to do as a lawmaker?
To work.
Let me just add
Yes. Hold
something to help you. So there's a breakdown of these allowances that they're getting. So it talks about the basic allowance, which is over 2-point-something million. The hardship allowance, which is 50% of their basic salary. Then there's a constituency allowance, which is 200, which they will say is not to them. But then there's a furniture allowance, which is 300% of their basic salary. And then there's a newspaper allowance, which is funny, I think is what we should be discussing, which is 50% of basic salary is about 1.2 million. So let's go.
Allowance.
Newspaper
I have
allowance.
to read the papers all the time.
Please, we have a phone. We use our paper, we read our papers on our
you are
phones.
coming as a lawmaker to make laws to help serve your land, to make things better for your people, to make the environment conducive for your people.
At the expense of
At
your
the
own...
expense-
No, at the expense of your own well-being.
I don't understand. You decided to serve.
Okay.
There's a difference. You
Okay.
decided to serve.
Right.
And when you serve, when you put yourself in position of service,
Right.
you should render that service from that point of genuinity. That means that you don't put your interests first. As a servant, you don't put your interests first. You put the people's interest first. And that means that you make sure that they are comfortable, they are okay. Whatever it is you are talking about in that your circle is to serve them, which automatically will serve you at the end of the day. Okay. But the problem we have is that they put their interests first. You are taking all of these allowance, and the people you are serving cannot be paid 30,000 naira. We are still talking about it from since when? I can't remember.
Okay. You see, it's always good when we talk like this. You know, it's always things are always nicer from our own perspective, because I think of somebody who is a minister, for example, in a church. You've decided to serve.
Yes.
Abi?
Yes.
Your job is service.
Yes.
As you're serving now, would you now serve at the expense of your family's well-being, number one? Number two, would you also serve in an environment that's not conducive? So we see pastors going out getting these big buildings, air conditioner, get your official car, pay the electricity, you have the things, you have to the screen, make everything nice and conducive so that you can minister free, so that the Holy Spirit can minister to you. But yet, your ministers are saying that they need, what the allowance, what do you call it, hardship allowance,
Yes.
to adjust to this new environment, and you have a problem. So my problem is the hypocrisy of the Nigerian mind.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're
Nima,
right.
please help me
No,
here.
I understand what she's saying. For a lot of us, we have talked about our pastors in their private jets, and then some of us have explained it to say they're using it to spread the gospel.
I have not explained it.
Well, we have a number of Nigerians who support this and say that it's important for the ministers, the men of God to do this because it helps to propagate the gospel. That is one. But I just wanted to say these allowances, according to what I read, that sometimes they do not give them these allowances straight up. So what they do is that they provide them monies for other things. So they make sure hospital bills are being paid for, sort of education, they get like a subsidized rate, you know, other things that they pay. So instead of giving you an amount of money for hardship allowance, you get other allowances. But our senators are getting those allowances as well as hardship allowances. So those allowances would have taken care of whatever hardships you would have encountered.
The benefits are duplicated.
Yes.
Let me take this call before I come to Nima. Morning, are you there?
Good morning.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Sandemola, go ahead.
Yeah, we're a first-time caller, but it's fun.
Welcome to the show.
Well, regarding what we are discussing, it's just that we have not been holding these people responsible all the while. But thank God for social media, one, and thank God for programs like your program, Journalist Gangans, and the rest of programs of this nature. It's that time we Nigerians stand up to this responsibility of ours. Enough of government just taking tax and all the rest, asking us to do, and what are they doing in the return? Imagine salary of civil servants who are really working and still being discussed over 2 years. Now, the so-called representative and senator, I don't know what they are representing. As a matter of fact, they should be placed on normal civil servant, level. Let all the senators, all the reps earn the same, the minimum wage.
Yes.
You will see that no one will go to that place again.
All right,
They
thank you
will
very
not
much.
want to
Thank you very much, Ademola. Yes, right, anyway.
So I wonder how these senators go to bed at night. How they sleep, knowing what the kind of things that they do. How some people just take this money and say, okay, maybe just for 4 years, and they sleep well. They actually do. Because, Morayo, you misunderstand hardship when you make the comparison Sokoto to Abuja. The hardship is supposed to be for moving from Abuja to Sokoto. So you're supposed to move from a comfortable terrain to a very tough terrain to earn or deserve the payment of a hardship allowance. These senators already, we are buying them cars to give them the luxury life of our capital city. We are giving them houses that are choice places. For those who have not gotten their residence money yet, the hotels that are lodging, they're paying for them. So they now earn 50% of their basic salary as hardship allowance, take the money and sleep at night, knowing that some people are raising funds on their ex-students group for hospital treatment. Knowing that, some people are trekking. In fact, when I drive and I see people trekking a few distances to get to work, it breaks my heart knowing this is how some people have to live.
Yes, sir.
They see those things. Or is it that you just get into power and you totally lose touch with the realities around you?
You made a good point, Nima. So obviously what you're saying makes a whole lot of sense. But I also don't want us to, because we find it so easy to point fingers, it's always them. But we also need to look within. There are things we do exactly the same thing within our own community.
No, Murayo, if I look at my own condition of driving to work, and the condition my car has been made to go through by their failure to do the needful and provide basic amenities, I deserve hardship allowance.
Honestly.
4 years counting.
Me too, from that my area.
But they who will fly the distance that I would have to drive to Benin, for instance, they will fly certain distance. They don't deserve this money. They don't.
You made a comparison with our ministers. You are forgetting that for the work of God, it's voluntary. Nobody puts a knife on your head to pay your offering. No. It's taxpayers' money, Please, did you give them money before when they were getting
they actually run for office.
They volunteer to run for office to serve.
Yeah.
Using our money, taxpayers' money. So you have to be accountable to how you spend the state's money. Yes. This one is voluntary. Sometimes I don't pay. I don't remember
church money to spend now.
Hold on. Church is not the same thing. It's voluntary. Some people are in churches, they don't pay offering, they don't pay tithes. Nobody kills them, nobody drives them away. But you're working as a citizen, you're supposed to pay your tax. The people who are managing your tax to provide the basic amenities should be held accountable on how they spend it.
Okay, so for me, I think constitutionally it's there. So they can always use the constitution to say, so they're not doing, wait.
They should amend it.
Yes, good. So they're not doing anything illegal, but we're asking them that
the fight is with
they should review.
It's not with these people, because the truth is, let's be sincere. Somebody needs to go to that revenue mobilization agency. They need to review the salaries across board, because
there's not somebody. It's still them, the senators. They can sit down. That is their job. Yes. They are meant to look at laws and policies and say, okay, we've gone through this. This doesn't make sense anymore. In fact, we use our phones to read newspapers now. We do not need as much for newspaper allowances.
These are things. The media houses. But let's sit down and talk about it. For the past, since 2009, okay, let's say 2011 was the next election, we've been trying to cut down excesses in our constitution and all those basket areas in our constitution where leakages happen. Yeah. And every time we vote in a new set of House of Assembly members or National Assembly members, they know the issues. When they get in there, they worsen it.
Okay.
They worsen it. Is it that we don't love ourselves as Nigerians?
Let me take this call. It's been holding for a while. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, my name is Bosse.
Thanks, Bosse. Go ahead,
yes,
please.
I'm calling from Ibadan.
Go ahead.
What other proof do we now need to show and prove to Nigerians that these people are not for us? They are not for us at all. My Nigerians, I'm talking to all of you today. All of us. We have sold this country to the politicians.
Honestly. Yes.
What hardship are you going through that is more than what an average Nigerian is going through? That is more than what the soldiers are going through there. If you paid our soldiers well, probably would have won this police and all what other nonsense was. Please, Nigerians, power belongs to the people. Let us get Nigeria back from the politicians. They are not for us. They are protecting their own interests. They are not stakeholders. Their families are not here. Their children are not here. They are not schooling here. If they are sick, immediately over to overseas. Tell me, how will this country grow if you continue to do like this? If you are not a stakeholder in anything, you don't have the interest of that thing at heart.
Yes,
you are only selfish.
Thank you very much for your view. We appreciate it.
Yes, I wanted to even say that. She mentioned it. I said it would be nice for us to even have the soldiers' breakdown of their salaries and see how much they get for hardship allowances.
So Yaya Usman says, I think the Senate is one of the biggest scams in our country, doing little and earning much. Do we need full-time legislation? Not even all of them show up for plenary, and it's pathetic. Abayomi says, hardship allowance. Please, who fights so hard, kills people, steal ballot box, and all just to get where he or she experiences hardship? Little wonder we are laughed at in the Committee of Nations.
Yes. Okay. On that note, we end this. Let's go on a break. When we come back, other topics will be discussed. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Okay, moving on to other topics. A counselor gave reasons one should never be friends with their ex. According to her, keeping your ex-partner close as a friend is very poisonous, which can destroy your present relationship. Do you agree? Join the conversation again on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read your tweets. Hopefully our celebrity guest joins us at some point so that he can join the conversation. Yeah. But first, ladies, we got to talk about this. Are you friends with your ex?
Exes?
Exes?
I'm saying, I'm sure many people have exes. So which one are you friends with? For me, I don't believe in ex. I mean, I didn't know you, I don't know you. Where I am right now, that's in my past. Because, you see, normally what I would say, okay, my former friend, I used to know this person, an acquaintance, so I don't have that ex. And I find that ex thing is a Nigeria, no, not a Nigerian thing, mostly women thing, where you're always talking about my ex. You have not formed a new relationship with an ex. So the person is probably in another relationship, and yet there's the conversation of me and my ex, and I'm like, it does not make sense. There's no need for that kind of closeness or that kind of friendship, especially if you're looking to have another relationship. And the reason why is you would not leave yourself open, or available for someone else to come in. And another person that's going to come into your life will be wondering what sort of relationship you have with that ex. The only times that I think exes are fine is if you share children. So you're co-parenting with an ex. So, in that case, you have to be, friends or cordial or polite with each other for the sake of the children. But aside from that, I don't know why people are exing and being best friends.
The first question for me is, Shebi the ex is a human being? Has he become a goat or a dog? It's a human being, so we can be friends, we can talk about it. But the question I usually ask when I hear this, I was waiting for you to land at that your point that once debe, always debe. That was where at the point, yes, that was the point I was waiting. Because I see this more as, don't make friends with your ex as a gender thing. They don't relate it so much to men because they always have this feeling that a woman is easy to get. And once you've gotten a woman, you can always get a woman, the same woman, anytime, because probably you have. And I feel offended when I hear that I can be friends with my ex and then something will happen. Because what is happening? I don't get it. We have moved on. We can do businesses together. We can have conversations. But that thing is not happening because I am my own woman and I know what I want. And sometimes men carry that notion around because they feel that, that once debe, always debe, because their debe is good. It's me that will tell you if the debe was good. What if I was managing the debe for how many years? And then I've landed in a relationship with a better debe. And we have...
You have told this debe to be something else.
Yes! It annoys me when they say women should not be close to their ex. Women should not be... Because it could happen, and then you need a shoulder to cry on, and then something will happen. It doesn't work that way. There are women who, when they've moved on. We can do business together. It doesn't matter. Nothing will happen.
So you feel like emotions cannot play a role? Emotions will not play a role?
What kind of emotions are we talking about? Not for everybody. And I believe I'm one of the exceptions.
Yeah. So women are stronger than others.
Yes, they are.
Let me just be mischievous today again. So the Debe rule does not actually apply to women alone. So if once the woman wants to apply the rule,
applies the other way around,
she will get him again.
Absolutely.
So it's the same rule. But for me, because of, we are very conservative. We don't do exes. But we're not enemies. So if I see you, I'll call you certain civility. When I see you, be nice to you. say a word of, you know, how your family are. But if you want the relationship to be closer, maybe you respect me very well, because there's one of my exes I named the first child. The respect was up to here. In fact, I had a stake in the new wife.
Wow.
So I appreciated the fact that, you know, he used to talk about the level of conversation and, you know, how and everything I should talk to. So when the first child came, he gave me 2 names and said, which one would you like?
Take?
So like godmother, that kind of thing. So I won't disrespect that person, but it's not like we'll not take exes to, okay, I've not called this person, I'm not sure.
No.
I won't disrespect. The disrespect is not for him, it's for my husband, actually. I won't disrespect my husband and myself to
But
keep
this,
that
once
relationship.
let me come to you. I think I have, oh goodness, should I share this story? Let me take this call. Ahmed, are you there? Ahmed, are you there? Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. I would like to talk on the issue of the first topic.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Sometimes it's amazing when you people are talking about the issue of the salary of the political officials. This thing is about profession. You people that are working in that place, you have your own profession. You can't compare salary of different kind of professions together. It's not possible.
Like
the person who want to become a pilot, somebody's on the ground saying that the pilot salary is a little bit higher than. So you have to choose your own profession. If you know that you are going to be a politician, if you know that that particular profession is going to hire you more, why can't you go inside instead of continue to criticize that they are collecting hardship allowance?
Ahmed, do you feel that? Ahmed, I think the people's sentiment is that.
Your own profession.
Okay, the people's Ahmed, the people's sentiment.
Then you go inside it. You don't continue to complain about it.
Ahmed, can you hear me for a second? The people feel that going into politics should be a service. So it shouldn't be seen as a profession. In many countries, it's actually a part-time
It's not
service.
a profession, actually.
It shouldn't be a profession. So he's saying that it should be paid.
It's not a profession.
It's not a profession. You're going there to serve. And because you're going there to serve...
Excuse me.
Before you go inside there, excuse me, before you go inside, the salary and wages, everybody loses it. You understand?
So we're asking as the people that can it be reviewed?
You work for it before you go. You can't just go, you just want to contest and you just go inside. There are so many people that contested, they spend their money.
It's not a profession, sir. Is there a training that you get that, you know,
so they lose their money
a particular kind of exam? It's an elected office. People choose anybody from any profession who should already have a career to go represent them. It's democracy, representative government. How can it be a profession, for God's sake? It should be a life of service. You work for the people, and you know you put your names in signs.
And I think Ahmed is missing a point, which is they already get paid. What we're saying is that they are giving them extra allowances
that don't make sense.
And added to their allowances the hardship. Do you think they deserve it? Do they deserve it? That's the question.
Imagine the comparison to being a pilot, for instance. A pilot who goes on a trip every time, taking risk of at least losing his life for any mechanical fault, was trained for that job. How can you make that comparison?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Moving on. I mean, I used to. I think it's with us. All right. So,
the best story.
Okay, I'll share this story because my husband is on a trip. He just traveled this morning, so I know he won't. Unless the army boss go and say, your wife said X, Y, Z.
He can be watching online.
He won't watch it. No. Okay, so there's a guy. Before I left for the US, a guy. Well, I was a teenager. I had a crush on this really nice guy. It was my cousin's friend. Very handsome, cute guy. He's always trying to date me. I never allowed. So the night I was traveling to the US, I felt like, okay, I'm never going to see this guy again. So we shared a kiss.
No, just a kiss.
Yes, just a kiss. Okay. A passionate kiss. You know, those kiss, that okay, bye-bye kiss.
Gosh,
my mother is not watching. Jesus Christ. So that went with me. Like, okay, I kissed him, you know, I got excited. I traveled, grew up, graduated, went to school, came back home. He sought me out.
He's been waiting. He was waiting.
Waiting what?
He sought me out. Oh, Mariah's back. Came back. We came back, and I saw him. And immediately, kiss again. And that was it. We just kissed, though, please. We only kissed. But the point is that it was there. Okay. That crush didn't go after many years.
That's not an ex, really. That's
So it's not an ex,
that
but
is
I'm trying to go back to the fact that what was there once,
The
the feeling, that emotion that you're thinking as if it has gone, might not have gone, might actually still be there. Because after that kiss, I just, you know what, this guy is not my food for me. We just realized that we're not adults, and I just didn't like where he was. So both of us drew about. But the fact that when I got back, I was willing to share that moment again.
Okay, so what if the kiss was bad?
Like bad or not bad, I just knew that the guy wasn't the kind of guy that wanted to do.
He was a good case, so you
wasn't about the kiss, was with the person.
Okay.
He was
so
just
you can
like
manage if
the kind of his attitude, his personality, his
you can manage any other thing. It depends on what works for you, really.
He wasn't just the kind of guy I wanted to be with anyway.
What you felt of infatuation, a lot of us had it growing up. I had a crush based on brilliance. When I saw him later, I was like, nah, if you see my husband, yeah, you did. You know, that kind of a thing. So, yes, those kind of things are fickle. There are things that, you know, you don't put something to. But the seriousness of what we are discussing here is when you've taken the relationship into intimacy, that kind of, where you both of you have shared.
That's the real couple.
Where you have entered covenant.
Yes.
My mother calls it, if you like, you enter covenant to that person. So where you have entered covenant to that person, and then you think you're breaking something very serious. I think at that point...
That's the reason why I don't even believe in exes, because, as I said, especially in our modern day, people are multi-dating and multi-relationships. So who are these ex? Are you going to... Which of the ex? Are you going to say, so when I called X1 and then hung out with X2, they don't exist. I mean, X, you know, in a mathematical formula, when you say, what is X? X is just non-existent.
Right.
It should be a way.
Superhuman. It's actually difficult. When you've gotten covenants with
multiple people.
Yeah, so that's the difficult part.
How many
Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Adeboale.
Yes, there is nothing wrong in keeping friendship with an ex. There's nothing wrong. It's just that you just need to limit your boundaries.
Yes.
Such a person.
Thank you,
and then you wouldn't want the person to go ahead and do what has happened in the past.
Yeah.
And then, sorry for the other question I've been trying to, for the other, the hardship allowance by the lawmakers. I don't think it is right for them, because there are a lot of people suffering around, a lot of kidnapping and all that. So there are other issues they can concentrate on instead of demanding for their own selfish interest. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adeboale, for your thoughts. Yes.
So you know, there are people who know how to properly break up. You know, sometimes when I see something happening and then you fall back on the exes, probably you have unresolved issues. Yeah. There are people who know how to resolve all the issues when they break up. And I happen to be one of those people. Fortunately or unfortunately, I am strong in that regard. So if I've made up my mind that this relationship can't work for whatever reason, before I even tell you, I've used months while I'm still in that relationship to process it and work on myself, so that when I look back, I don't turn again. And so I know that I'm not the only woman like this. There are other women or other men who, when they take a stand in that, it happens and it stays that way. We should respect that. And so if down the line, we happen to do business, we can meet, and I have somebody close to me now.
That person knows your mumu button.
I don't have mumu button.
Exactly. They love your
that
That person knows that thing. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not this 360. The person comes into your life and it's just a friend. You do business today, you do something today, gradually.
When I have a husband,
you know what? I even feel that it's even easier these days to still be in contact with an ex because of social media. You know, it used to be when we were growing up, you break up, you move out of the area, and you never see each other again. But now, because of social media, you even get to see the person's life, and you're even checking up on the person to see if the person is doing better than you. You know, things like that.
I've never checked on my ex forever.
There's no need.
I don't remember their full name, Seth.
I don't call the one that remained my friend. I don't call him. I call his wife.
Exactly.
So now, when I want to check on your children, how are they doing? I call the wife. I don't call him.
But Nima, you see, that's a problem I have. There's some people who are in a relationship with their ex, meaning they're friends with their ex. The friends with the ex-wife or husband. You're the one that is going to also babysit their child. No, you have now become a sort of auntie or an uncle in the house. You have not moved on with your life because you are just, so sometimes we need to be careful of this friendship.
The seriousness
we may say that we're just friends, but it may be unresolved issues that you need to take yourself out of that situation so you can grow.
Work on this topic is one story I don't know if I'm permitted to share, but I will explain to Oga when I get home. So my husband had this colleague whose ex met him. And the day she met him, she just went back home, sent him nudes. She sent him nudes. Whoa. And she never... complete, total, view the viewers.
It's your own husband?
No, she dares not. I will find out now. If I was she, be careful. So it's not his colleague he was working with. Okay. And the first thing he did in reaction was to show my husband. So how many people will see the nude? Pass it. So, but she foolishly did something like that. That's the seriousness of what I see in this topic.
Remember somebody on this show told us once too that, I'll give you the details during the break. Oh my God. Wait, Alaji is holding. Alaji, are you there? Good morning. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Morning, sir.
Very interesting topic yesterday and today.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yesterday, so please let me chip in that of yesterday's one. More especially to Obiajulu. Obiajulu, if your sibling came to your husband's house, will you tell him that he's not welcome?
He would have told me before coming. He would have told me.
Tell him that he is not welcome.
He would have told me.
Without even giving you notice.
No, he wouldn't do that.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We leave that for another day. And secondly, please, Maria,
yes.
I will to you. You see, I can see you are about what is happening in Katsina. You don't know what is happening. You see, you don't appeal terror. You treat terror with terror. This issue of treating these people are armed robbers. These people are kidnappers. Anybody a kidnapper is an armed robber. Then you are now telling me that there should be a truce. Then there should be this kind of, they are looking like neither Delta militant. They are do good for us, do this for us. No, they are not agitators. They are not agitating for anything. And let me tell you, there was a provision. It seems you people, maybe you forgot, in the sense that there was this nomadic education, right from Babangida era, that is taking care of that. Somebody to tell you that he is segregated, he needed this, he needed that, it's a lie. And there's no way you can satisfy the appetite. If you lie, give them everything. You think you are negotiating. What if they ask the governor that, please, what we are after is your seat? Will the governor surrender his seat? The answer is no. So all this kind of a thing. And about this, our National Assembly member.
Right. Okay.
What you see, you don't see service.
All right. Thank you very much, Alaji.
Thank you, sir. May I say something?
Let's take a few more to it. Yeah, go ahead.
Something quickly. What I said yesterday wasn't about the in-law. Whoever you are, whether you're my brother, you're my mother, you're my cousin, you don't come to my house unannounced. That is how I stand. That is where I stand.
So Adam Solulokwe says there's a clear difference between a friend and a close friend. I can be a friend to my ex depending on what separated us, but not close friend. If not careful, you will go back to your vomit unconsciously. Mezu says, for me, an ex isn't an enemy. You can be friends, but only if you know you have the emotional strength to draw the line. Afa Jagbe says, keeping your ex as a friend is a no. Even if you don't suspect cheating, it may not be healthy choice for your partner to remain friends with their ex in this era of social media. Paul
Iguniwe says, we had a connection with my ex-fiancé, but I had to collapse the friendship when I noticed she doesn't mention my wife. Mr. PJ Comedian says, maintaining friendship with an ex can be risky, shao. It calls for complete maturity of knowing boundaries and also the understanding of one's partner to know why you have that friendship.
Someone says, to me, I agree with the counselor because you're moving close to an ex can cause you a serious problem with your present husband. Let your past be your past. Ara Okinsi Okutafa.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, I'm told that our celebrity guest has cancelled, so we'll try to see if we can get another topic or continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So our guest cancelled, so we're going to talk about another topic we found online. A Twitter user said she called off her wedding just a week to the date because her husband-to-be slapped her. How would you react if you were in her shoes? We'd like to hear your views on this. You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. So the question is, if your spouse-to-be, let's not say husband or wife, if your spouse-to-be slaps you a week to the wedding, would you call it off? That's the question. I'm not starting with you. I already know your answer. Nima, please, what would you do?
If my husband-to-be slaps me the morning of the wedding, I will still call it off.
You call it off, okay?
Quickly. Because as a Muslim girl, me, I didn't have the luxury of dating somebody 10 years to know them. I was just praying for sign. So if my sign come 1 hour before, I'm going to take my sign and walk away. But I've seen where people make the most foolish decisions of forgiving. You know that person has temperament issues. That person has to see someone and fight through his issues. And you don't have to be the prize at the end of him sorting out himself. So break up with him, let him sort himself out and find a new partner where he is a better person to go into that relationship. You are doing the world a service.
Well, okay, let me come to you, Virgil.
People don't say like that.
What are your thoughts on this? What would you do?
Before a man's anger gets to the hand, it's walked all through from the toes. It's a long process. So when it gets to that hand, it doesn't go away, with you especially. So no matter how much love you see, no matter how much begging you receive afterwards, it will come again. It's been tested, it's been tried, and it's true. During my, just after my NYC, the very first job I got was to work in a, one of these, it's called Project Alert, violence against women, domestic violence. So we're handling that issue. And I saw firsthand several women who have been beaten and battered. And one of the questions I learned to ask very early before I got married was, did you see the signs? When you people started this relationship, did anything like this happen? And they will say, some of them will say something like, then when he's upset, he will just throw the cup. Or when he's upset, he will now do like this. Or when he's upset, it's just only one slap he gave me. I dated for 5 years, but it was only one, and he promised it will never happen again. 15 years, 20 years down the line, the battery is something that you cannot even fathom. So I know that once he gets to that point, the man is sick. He needs to be cured. Like Nima said, it's not me that he will use as specimen. Even in this, my relationship, in this, my marriage, that I am balling and enjoying myself. One slap, Morayo, you will hear that I've carried my bag and I've left. Because I know that once it gets to that point, it's difficult to go back.
Okay, so, see, that's one of the issues people have with modern women. Every small thing, we're ready to go. If the slightest provocation, we pack our bags and we're going. And we've been told that our mothers went through this. Yes, maybe they were not as happy as we are today, but they went through it and we are better for it because our parents, our mothers stayed and our fathers stayed. There's a man, one of my husband's friends, something similar happened. He's left with his children and he's taking care of his children. And the woman left. This woman was very violent. He left with his children. He couldn't handle the fact that he didn't want to beat her back. He didn't want to hit her back. But she was very violent. So he just carried his children and left. So my question therefore is that the right approach? Because many of our mothers went through this and they stayed.
See, when we talk about what our mothers endured, we need to look at it, carefully. Most of our mothers or grandmothers did not have the luxury of dating like we did. So they did not have the luxury of seeing red flags. So you were told, this is this person's son and this is my daughter, go. So for some of them, they were found out bad habits while there. And even the person that was performing the bad habits probably also just knew that about himself. So they were asked to, to endure it and move through it. But you and I, we dated. We had the time to see red flags. I used to know someone that I just knew I could not be with this person because of the way he slapped his driver It didn't even have to happen to me. I just knew you just slapped the driver because he was upset. Yes, an adult. So for me, and that's the question right now with modern girls, we give so many excuses when we see the red flags. It's as if we're waiting for Holy Spirit to land on our heads first and tell us this and this is the problem. Would you stay with someone if he was a drug user? Would you wait until he becomes comatose? You know? Yeah, so those are the things we should look at.
The seriousness of the issue is beyond what you can take. Because people look at it and say, if I just control myself, maybe I don't just cross the line. But the damage, when your children start to come.
Yes, sir.
Imagine a son see his father every day talk to the mother, talk down at the mother, call her names. Or, you know, a girl see his father constantly beating the mother, or the mother constantly being at a place of a slave in front of the father. It happened. I had a friend, the first time I went to their house, so my father never allowed us kneel and greet him, talk less of kneel and serve him. So when I went to my friend, this woman was a politician those days. She was the local ward E, whatever. And then she said, and then she served her husband and knelt down. Remained on her knees till it was done eating.
Jesus.
Me wake on look their son. I did not go again. No. I waited there. The gossiper was the one that spread there. Hey! Because I was shocked. I'd never seen such a thing. That kind of life would damage the children witnessing it. It's not the mother.
Yes.
I've had to deal with...
Before you go to the next one, because I don't know, is it only me that you had when women gather and advise you and say, listen, some men can get angry.
Yes.
But when you get to that point, you have to amumora, tolerance. You have to just find a way, because it's not that they love you, there's that love. So we get a lot of women advising young brides that way.
You're right.
So the question is, are those wrong advice?
Yes. That's my reality. You see what you just said is my reality. The women around me will say, what have we not seen before?
Yes.
When I was getting married, I was giving advice. Lawyer, put your certificate at home. When you get to your husband's house, don't be anybody else. I took it for a few years. But in my practice, what I see daily, be who you are. Take what you will not take. Don't take it. No matter whether is your grandmother, godmother, or mother that is giving you this advice, you don't have a resilience. People I've seen live where domestic violence led to the death of a woman.
Before.
We fought the matter to court. The last time I heard, he was remanded in Kirikiri. Whether that man is on death row, I don't know. Somebody beat his wife and twisted her neck. You see that beating thing. So people will watch us and say, hey, what is this one saying? What does she know? If I have not seen it up close, where two children became orphans just because of the stupidity of her dad or his inability to control his temper, killed their mother, and then he was in prison.
Several.
I will tell you, take a risk. What have we not seen? Maybe it will change. When a person has anger issues, he just has to deal with it.
Yes. Okay. So you see, that's what we should look at. We should stop feeling guilty for the anger issues that the person that's being violent has, because that's the position they always put women. It must be something that you did. It must be something that you're not doing. And so that's why our mothers will come with that advice and say, you know, be careful the way you are around him. So if we look at the anger issue as a problem, this man has a problem. And in order to help him, he needs to go and get help for that. We have issues with, remember Tiger Woods with his wife. He came out to now say that he was sexually addicted, and he had to go for therapy to sort that out. So when someone has anger issues, he should take himself out of that family unit and go and get sorted. And the woman should not be made to feel guilty for it.
But Mariam, there have been testimonies, which I've heard, of women that maybe got slapped or doing the dating, while they were dating. Eventually they got married and it stopped.
Congratulations.
Women like that have testimonies where they've been able to understand better and influence their husbands positively, such that they now know, okay, when we have an issue, you have a conversation. So should we totally shut that once you hit a woman, that's it? Should women also find other ways to find, okay, can I resolve this issue? Because not all men are actually naturally violent.
It still depends on what your deal breaker is. There are some people who their body likes pain. They can there are women like that. I had a friend in the university. The boyfriend was beating her consistently. When I told her, she said, no, if a man does not beat you, that means he doesn't love you. So she's been wired to collect that beating for years. And immediately, the guy traveled abroad. He got somebody else pregnant and forgot about her. And she came to cry on me. So the point I wanted to make is, sometimes we assume that when both parents are together, the children turn out right. I've seen children who both parents are still living together and they are nothing.
Damaged.
Yeah,
They are
because of the
damaged
problem.
because of all the things they've gone through growing up. And I've seen people like us, like me, from a broken home, who came out well. I've said this thing before, and I'm going to say it again. My father hit my mother, and she carried her bag, left me when I was 11 months. So when you're getting married to, know that the girl you're marrying to, if her mother can leave at 11 months, me, I can leave at any time. That is not my...
Okay, let me take this call. Come to you, Mariam. Morning, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
KG.
Same thing happened to me. But for me, for my own case, I won't call up the wedding. I'll go ahead with the wedding, and I'm going to call up it tonight. Because of what we bought and everything, same thing happened to me. So I just...
What did you do?
She didn't
Said,
call
hello?
it off.
You didn't call it off, right? Okay.
But how is it now?
How is it? Is it still hitting you?
I'm happy with the breakup. I'm so happy.
She had the wedding and then broke off the marriage.
Oh, you had the wedding and then broke it off?
Yes, yes.
To save embarrassment.
And I'm happy with everything now.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
that's
I wanted to
considering
say
the cost
something.
and all that. Yes,
Yes. You know, you were saying that is it not better to teach people about tolerance? So that, because people have testimonies of how it worked out. The thing we need to talk about more is to say people will not tolerate this, so men would learn. A lot of the times we are teaching women how to survive a man's anger or his temperament. We should teach men what not to do from the very beginning, because they see hitting as an option.
Yes.
Let's not misunderstand domestic violence being one-sided. It's not usually the female. So this week, as I was saying, the female...
you said the male.
A male gave me his own... In fact, the way he described, you see the fear with which he talks about his wife. That with their 2 children, that every time the wife is beating him, in the struggle, he showed the knees. Marks, wow. Serious marks that he does. I said this woman was having spirits inside her.
Me, I know.
It's not huge. She's just strong.
I know.
Maybe the estrogen.
She'll be biting this man.
Oh, Lord.
Serious bites. The man will say, Mariah, look at my body. The man will bite. And the woman has this,
though.
I don't want to use this she has this kind of thickness. All those women are thick. She's short, stocky. She has like those yum yum.
In house, they say,
Jesus Christ.
you have one bone.
When this man, when this girl, hey, the man ran away.
So
enough to run away.
The same advice I gave women was what I said to the man. As fast as you can run. In fact, documents. Because we try to kill that, but it's the same in any kind of situation. A woman, some women will just come down, maybe because of watching a Zero, and just give their husband slap on the wedding day to show that I'm a woman. You got me angry. Please don't be slapping, slap. Slaps are really reciprocation, no?
Let me take this call. Hello. Go ahead, please. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, Mariah, how are you today?
Very well. Thanks, Mr. Williams.
Good. I've been your view for many years. I went through today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. This is my first time anyway.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nima,
Sir.
You've been a great lawyer and you've been a very good panel in this topic. You see the previous caller. Let me go to the previous topic, the one of this your senator. The man who called from your own constituency, I'm word of it. You can see the kind of people that you people vote in.
I didn't vote.
Well, you are one of the voters. You did vote, do you?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's make it snappy. You see, the problem we have in this country. Oh, hello?
Yeah, we're hearing.
The problem we have in this country is that we're always shying away from the truth. You can see Boris Johnson's brother on a bike last night. And these are the kind of people that rule their country. We go there because of money. We go there because of stealing from the poor. They don't have us in heart. They mill us like people mill oil. And this is going to go for a very long.
Oh.
Thank you, Williams.
I'm so sorry about that. And I was actually enjoying it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so there was something I understood from the studies I did because of this violence issues and women having domestic violence issues. And I realized that sometimes it's not because the woman doesn't want to leave that situation, but they don't have the willpower to. So we still need to empower our women, empower young girls, to build enough self-esteem. Because the truth is, if you love yourself, you will not stay in any condition that is not conducive to your body or to you as a person. So build enough resilience, build enough love in themselves, to love themselves enough to know that I cannot take this treatment from
Thank
anybody,
you for taking us there,
whoever it is.
because I've always said at this table, I know it has nothing to do with age, but I think it's important that a girl or anybody's mature. Mature people get married, not youngsters. A young person is not he's not mature enough to take that kind of decision that this is about me and not about how I feel at the moment. It's about her future. So young people must attain that level of maturity. And I always put the age as 27, but people feel like at 21 years, as long as you're mature, you can get married.
30.
Me, I personally feel that you have no business with marriage until you're very mature and ready to take on what comes your way.
So there's this misconception thrown around that, you know, some people grow in love when that kind of conflict happens. So after the fight, the makeup is better. You see, may God bless the producers of one movie called Damage. I think we should play such movies a lot for young boys, starting from age 12, 13, so that they see the ultimate consequence of you having a temperament that is out of control. We all have our temperaments and everything, but the problem is not having it within control.
Yeah.
The ultimate consequence is what happened to what we call the woman Antinos. What happened to her? That man never had to control his temper growing up. When he's angry, everybody in the house will probably enter ground. He done the vessel, mona kwam oil, that kind of rubbish. So maybe if you had an uncle who, whenever he's angry, constantly gives him a slap.
I'm telling you, he'll comport himself.
Will you behave yourself? Are you the only one in this house? At least maybe then he would have seen that, you know, put himself in check. Yeah. But then he will continue to do it. Some people grow up and their children throw things when they're angry.
Yes, I've seen that.
I raised my child once for getting angry.
Abigail, are you still there? Hello? Oh, so sorry about that. Abigail, I think.
Yes,
So
what you just mentioned.
You need to check your child's temperament as a parent growing up. Especially when there are maybe one boy in a family. You not allow that boy just have a ball riding on everybody. They'll be tending to him. He will marry his wife, expecting his wife to tend to him, everybody to cater to him, and he continue to. Some people don't even know how to talk to their spouses. And the Rasul Sallallahu used to say, he said that, you know, the best of you are those who are nicest to their families, starting from your spouse. Yeah. So you come into the house, that kind of thing. And I just wonder, when you have that conversation, some men will be like, you're not being real. What exactly is real? To call something bad his name is not being real.
Okay. There's someone I follow on Instagram, and she just writes people's life stories. And this particular man talked about how in his first marriage, he was not a good husband. He used to fight and shout to his wife. And he actually thought that was the way to go. Until he left that marriage and got into a relationship with someone else. This someone else, a mature person who understood her values and what she wanted from someone. I think I mentioned yesterday, was the story where she had her list of what she wanted and asked him, you know, if they gel. So he said he learned a lot from her. That while they were dating, when he raises his voice at her, and she'd be like, no, we're human beings, we're not animals. We can have a conversation. So she trained him into the man that he should be. So when we have these conversations, let us talk to them about what they should not be doing. Because many men, we have to be honest, do not get that training. Women, from when you are born, you're trained how to close your legs, how to clean the house, how to take care of someone. But a man just doesn't do that.
Hello, are you there? Tweets, please. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
This is Adi calling from Ikorodu.
Welcome to the show.
So you ladies are being partial. You've just been talking about men and principal talking your own side.
So tell us your view. Okay.
Okay, basically, I'm a kind of guy that gets angry easily too, as you're saying. So I have a lady I'm going out with. She's very older than I do. But the thing is, whenever there is argument between us, before I know it, she will just start, swearing for me on the phone.
Okay.
So there was a particular thing to that, and I'm trying to control my anger these days now. Okay. Because most people know that I easily get angry. So there was something that happened in my house with my parents that day. So with my annoyance, I just left her. On my way, she now called me. Okay, I couldn't hear what she was saying very well. The next thing I hear is that, I know they need capital. Meanwhile, I was angry where I was coming from. So what would you expect me to say to that kind of person in that kind of shoe?
this is what I would advise Ade. Is he still on the line? See, obviously, she's verbally abusive.
Yes, she is.
Physical abuse is one thing. Verbal abuse is also under abuse. And you already have a temperament that you know, and that's a trigger for you.
Yes,
you should not be in the same. You will not light a match where there's petrol now. So you should separate it. You cannot be in a relationship with her until she learns how to talk to you better. You need to teach people, you need to train people how to treat you, what you want from them.
Yes.
If you insist that you deserve respect, she will treat you respectfully.
And then we should also train ourselves to have conversations. So, yes, you could be in a relationship and conflict will be that. Of course, it will happen.
Yeah.
But both of you must be willing to sit down and talk about it.
Sort it out.
I've dealt with people who will say, he will not sit and talk with me. He will not discuss this thing. What am I supposed to do? He's just, and I appreciated one wedding I was sharing behind this, where the brothers saw that happen. And they would say, oh yeah, turn back. We'll not do it again. They had brought things for and the two of them were arguing somewhere. And he just pushed her back. Oh yeah, we'll not do it again. She'll not do it again. And they were the ones that helped her. Because family members now come in and try to mediate.
Yeah. That's another thing.
Family members coming in to mediate are not spotting issues in the way they should spot them. Some people will give you a story of how a good woman views her home.
When your spouse doesn't listen to you, and I've shared this before like several times, and I'll share it again for those who have no idea. You see, what I did that worked for me, because I was advised, I was RDJ, Richmond Dyer Johnson, that advised me, Richard Dyer, and he advised me when I was having issues in communicating. There was a time in my marriage where, as a woman, I'll tell my husband something, they don't listen. There's a point where a man just doesn't listen to you.
Yeah.
I've been through that phase. And how I got out of that phase, RDJ told me, Samara, do something that you've been procrastinating about, which inevitably means earn his respect.
Yeah. Smart.
Do something. So you procrastinate about maybe weight loss, about starting a business, and maybe doing something. You've been procrastinating with so many things.
So there's disrespect.
The total disrespect. But when you earn his respect, where you do something, he sees you in a totally different light.
He starts listening.
And he starts to listen to you. So it helped me. It totally, I said, then when it happened, I'll wake up early, I walk out with him jogging, because I wanted to do this at the time. Okay. I walk with him, both of us, after a while, I started holding my hands. We said, let's go and exercise. We started talking more. With the past, I won't spend time to hang out with him, because I just felt like, I want to go and cook, I want to go and hang out with the kids. I'll stay in the kitchen, I'll do everything. And I realized that, he wasn't a gisting partner. So I left everything, and I realized that we started getting closer.
Yeah.
And then I earned his trust, and gradually I started doing other things that I'm procrastinating about. So if you're in that position today, try it. Maybe it might work for you.
Okay, so Mariah, that's because your husband is sane. Yes, and he does not have score in the head. He's a normal man. So all this will work. But you see those people that already have a problem that they need to see a psychologist for. They need to see a therapist for. Jogging with him. And in fact, when you are jogging with him and somebody says hi and doesn't like that person, he woes you. Because he's not in a functional place. So we need to identify the kind of men we are dealing with.
Hallelujah, thank you. That's a fantastic point. So it depends on the kind of person you're dealing with. Okay.
So it's also important for you to be able to shut the door.
Red flags.
Walk out. If you're trying and it's not working, shut the door. It just might miss it. Appreciate it when he misses it. But if you stay there, and for guys too, trust me, women, we are the ones who don't want. I ate, for instance, I'm having an argument and my husband takes the car keys and goes out. Immediately, I go sober. I wait for him to come back. Maybe that matter I wanted to say to this. Then I will not be saying it small.
Then you'll be humble.
So it's for both ways. Yeah. I know what I deal with. If my husband has a temper, my temper matches his. It's because of training that I was even able to start, if he meets me, we meet each other.
I know you.
Right. So I had to learn because he would do certain things and I will be forced to calm down and then have a conversation.
So we've got something that this Samuel says, it's better to call off a wedding if your husband-to-be slaps you a week to your wedding. A broken wedding is better than a broken marriage. Yes, and a marriage is not for thug, it's for mature man and woman. Good.
Mr. PJ.
Then Andrew in Streatham says, if my daughter is slapped by one monkey of a man before her wedding, it is curtains for that union. In fact, I will pay some army guys to send fear into his heart.
PJ Comedian says, I will always advise that when you notice any form of violence during dating, take off. If you marry a man or a woman who slaps you as a boy or girlfriend, he or she will punch you as a husband. marriage doesn't change people, it expands what's already there.
Abioka Kaka says, you are discussing the A to Z of successful marriage, which most boys and girls ignore to their doom. I have a great married life to a Miss World, but properly groomed. Never deceive yourself. Every opportunity to size up your partner during courtship is something you must take. Your bed is as you lay it.
So Patricia Smith says, as a man, if her attitude was so bad that I'm pushed to raising my hand to hit her, I'll caution myself and avoid hitting her. But I will call off the wedding myself. That union cannot hold.
Interesting.
Even himself.
Yes.
Interesting. As we close, I just want to, and I'd like to reiterate what you said in the beginning, that some nerve from the feet. So if you look at it that way, look at it that way. It's like something climbing all the way.
That's the start.
That I'm learning for the first time. I don't know. So if you take it like that if the anger starts from the feet, from your foot, right, all the way up, and it gets to the hand, it ain't going back because it's been there before. So if your husband spanks you, or your wife spanks you, or hits you, or slaps you, the likelihood that it's going to happen again. That's what you're saying. So, and if it's going to happen again, maybe it's time for you to have that conversation. Like, okay, can we go ahead with this union, especially if you're not married? If you're married, go for counseling. Hopefully that's will help.
It's not bad. See, divorce is not a final thing. People misunderstand it. Separation, yes. Maybe we should be using the word separation. You can live for 3-4 years. Yes, and you will learn to have a conversation of you, maintenance of you or your child, whatever brings. By the time that's conversation, you will see the maturity of the mind that comes out at the end of that process. It's important that we allow that process. We don't like to talk about that process. And it's costing us.
When you see the signs, when you see the red flags, don't wait until it
on Wednesday, as I was driving home, I got photos of a domestic violence case. Photos. It's not something we should be signing.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on the show. Should we tell them who our celebrity guest was? Let's not embarrass him. Okay, we'll not mention it. Let's not embarrass him. But we're not happy that he didn't show up. Anyways, have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.